that there are, at least in my life, two different kinds of hobbies. Entertainment hobbies and hobbies that we do to improve our lives, or at least hobbies that I do to improve my life. I do think that as a woman, you incur in so many expenses for like nails and waxing and hairstyling and makeup and like body products and all of those sorts of products and services. And I think that growing up with, not a lot of money to dedicate to these things, I started to develop skills, or like soft skills, that could help me into saving money and improve my life and look always like good and polished and at best. And I think that these sort of hobbies are so important for you to learn, whether you're like a woman or a man or anything in between. Like I think that we need to start learning more hobbies of this sort that can nourish not only from the inside, but that can also help, looking good on the outside. Yeah, I highly recommend you like learning at least, if not all of this, just like a few hobbies that are gonna like enrich you and make your life better and easier. And I think that in part is like me having also ADHD, or undiagnosed ADHD, that like led me to learn all of these hobbies. But on some level, it was also like a stressful job that led me to like having to sort of like numb myself and not think about work when I was at home. And that's why I also had to like keep myself busy, learn a few hobbies and so on. So for the first type of hobbies, which is like entertainment hobbies, I learned how to like draw, do watercolors, like reading, and these are like hobbies that I think are like enriching you on like a creative aspect of your life, because I feel like most people need a creative outlet, and when working a stressful job, especially if you're sitting at a desk the whole day, I would recommend you doing something creative with your hands so that you can just focus on that and your brain can rest. And the second type of hobbies is just like I said, like hobbies that enrich you in like other aspects, not only creative, but also like improving like your body and like your image and so on and so forth. So for this type of second category of hobbies, I learned a lot of skills. Let's just call them soft skills instead of hobbies, because they are really like it takes a lot of practice to like master them, and a lot of studying. Like hobbies, they're fun, and I know you're like passionate about it, but if you want to master something like hobbies, like with everything, you have to kind of like learn more about it and have like actual interest. And since I was a kid, like my interest has always been like beauty and everything revolving that, how to look good, how to look polished. That was just like my focus growing up, because I didn't look so polished, And I do have quite a long list to go with my hobbies, and I would also love to share them. So that's why I'm like creating playlists. So if you're interested in learning any of these hobbies, it's gonna be just like much easier. You can just like jump on a playlist and just like start learning. So I started with the knitting playlist, and so I'm gonna make more videos about it so you can learn much more about it. But all of these hobbies I learned because, of course, I wanted and still want quality things in my life. Like I want to live a quality life, and in order to do so, I need to have also like quality things around me, or like on me, or like with me, And one of the first like creative hobbies that I started was actually like candle making. That was my first hobby when I like started living alone and having like this new job, a bit stressful. So I needed to turn off my brain, stop thinking about work and just like focusing on something else. And it's so fun. But mostly I decided on candle making because I did love candles. I do love candles, and I've always felt a bit skeptical though, because you never know what's inside the candles. Of course you can buy like a very expensive candle, like $80 candle, and you're probably gonna get like a good products, with like, soy wax and safe fragrances. But at the time, and still now, like I don't want to spend €80 for a candle, no matter how amazing the quality is or whatever brand it is. I'm like, I just don't feel like I want to do that. And so I spent hundreds of euros like learning how to make candles, but at least, like I learned a skill and I know how to make a candle now and how to make it with the best raw materials, the best ingredients, the best perfumes. Like I know 100% what is inside my candles, and I know that they're safe to use, they're good for you even, And so I started making soy candles, beeswax candles, and taking always like fragrance oils from like reputable suppliers. And in this way, I could like enjoy a very like luxurious candle without the luxury price and have as many as I want. A very big category of hobbies, let's say, that I loved learning since I was way younger, was how to look put together. And therefore, I had to learn a lot of hobbies regarding how to help me look put together. And these hobbies were, of course, makeup and learning how to make products to help my body look good. For example, I learned how to make soaps from scratch, and then I learned how to make like body products like scrubs, creams, and shampoos as well, because like I had a lot of like issues with my scalp and hair, and that's why I needed like a shampoo that was perfect for my needs, and I had to make it. Like sometimes these hobbies also are, I started them because there was not a product in commerce that I could like easily find, or that I would think it's a good quality product for me and for my needs, and therefore I had to make it. And this was the case for shampoos, for example, and I'm very, very happy with the result, and I never had like longer or healthier hair than I have now. And other hobbies like knitting, for example, I learned because I love woolen sweaters. They're so warm, they're so like practical because they're warm and they're beautiful. But of course, they're expensive, especially if you want like 100% wool, like good quality sweaters. And not only like I'm very picky on the style, because I did learn like, what are the best, most flattering shapes for me. And I do think that sometimes it's hard to find sweaters that are, right for me. But also, if I find them, they're very expensive, like 200 euros, 300 euros for maybe a sweater that it's fine, but not exactly what I had in mind. So I started learning how to knit, because this way, not only I spend like less money on the yarn, the wool is just much cheaper, but also like I can make the cardigan, the sweater in the shape that I want, the size that I want, and plus I just relax while knitting. I just like sit on the couch, start knitting, watching a show or something, put in like a podcast, and I just relax. Plus, with knitting, for example, I have like knitting nights, and I just like have my friends over, we can like chat, like, just have like a chill night with girls. So I love like knitting and like all these hobbies that you can do with your friends. Recommended to learn those types of hobbies. And last but not least, another type of hobby that I am very fond of learning and still learning is food making. Because when I started living on my own, I didn't know any recipes. I didn't know like how to make most of the recipes that I make now. I had my basic, carbonara recipe. The only thing that my mom taught me before moving on my own. She was like, don't learn many recipes, just learn one and do it perfect. And that's why it is. So we focused on learning how to make pasta carbonara. And but now, like, I found joy in learning how to cook delicious and healthy foods, and I'm still learning, like, just like improving what I already know how to do, or just like learning something new and fun. For example, I love like Asian cuisine, and so I learned how to make like udon, learning how to make like ramen. And I am Italian, so I learned how to make pasta from scratch, which is super easy, by the way. I should make a video about it. And now I'm going to like South Korea, so it's gonna be so nice to learn the local recipes and just like experiment at home and just like, you know, improve it and make my own version with like the ingredients that I can find here. But I think that learning how to cook is such an important skill. Like, you have to learn how to like nourish your body, and in a good way, in a healthy way, and not just like eat a bunch of like processed foods that are not healthy. And I do want to say that yes, you can just like buy the things, you can if you want, you can learn the hobbies, but I just always want to say, like, if you feel that making the product from scratch sometimes is not worth it, it's completely fine, even though you invested like a lot of time and effort learning the hobby, but then you find out that, oh my gosh, actually it just takes so much time and effort. Investigate what alternatives you can do. For example, I did a course on nail artistry, like how to like be a nail technician, and because I didn't want to spend money like every month to have my nails done. And so my parents like helped me get the course. So when I was like very little, I was like 15, 16, I learned the core. I learned how to make nails, and I, like, you know, I had my kit, I was like making my nails, but at the end of the day, it was so much effort to make my own nails. It would take like 3 hours, and I would like be always like bent over, like breaking my back, and at the end of the day I was like, it's not worth it, and now, like, look at this, so pretty nail. I don't even know if you can see them, like, look, so pretty nails, and they're press-ons. Girl, you don't have to spend so much money to get your nails done. If you don't have the money but you want to look pretty, get your press-ons, you know, like, just like learn other ways to achieve what you want to have without like spending a fortune every month, you know, because it's so expensive to get your nails done here. It's like it's like more than 100 euros for like a set of nails, simple set of nails. Imagine for like nails this pretty, it would be too much for me. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. But there are like many like press-on alternatives in the market, and just learn how to apply them with the nice glue, and you're good for like, I would say 2 to 3 weeks. As like once you're done with them, you can like either like clean them, or you can just use the stickers, and then you can reuse them. Like it's amazing. So consider other valid alternatives if you want to, you know, like look good, look polished, but without like, you know, spending a fortune about it. Just find out other ways to do it. So to sum up this rant on hobbies, I would say it's so important for a person to have hobbies that you're passionate about. And to me, there are 2 kinds of hobbies, like entertainment hobbies that just like let you express creatively, like watercolor, like painting, or like reading as well, just like, you know, these kind of things that enrich you mentally. But also the other type of hobbies, you know, hobbies that are more like soft skills that help you improve your life in many different ways, whether nourishing from the inside with food, learning new recipes, having fun with like healthy food, and hobbies that help you look good on the outside, like learning how to make candles, learning how to do your nails, learning how to, you know, take care of your body, waxing, like styling your hair, makeup. And it's so important not only because you can get creative and it's good for your mental health, your brain and everything, but to live a better life with yourself and with the stressful environment, but also because you can save money. You can save money, have quality products that work good, that are exactly the way you want it, and that you know that are safe for you with, like, you know, good ingredients. But at the same time, like, if you don't want to, like, you know, invest time and effort in this, you can always find alternatives. But, you know, it takes still, like, I think, like, research, it's a hobby per se. Like, researching alternatives, it takes a long time, and I will consider maybe that a hobby in itself. And I love to do that, you know, like searching like online, like best product for this, best clothes for that, like best like tools that are like good price and good quality, you know. All of that. But what I want you to take from this is just like learn something. A new hobby not only is good in the old age as well, because the more we get old, like the more stimuli we have in our life, the healthier our brains is gonna be in the old age. But that's a whole other topic. So just learn a few hobbies, improve your life, and make things that are gonna help you have a quality life with quality products. So if you want to learn more about hobbies and knitting or like anything that I've learned, I'm gonna publish more videos about it. But you can find already now my first tutorial or like video, learn with me, crash course on knitting, and I'll explain to you all the basics on knitting, like all the base things that you have to learn with which you can make like already like the first project. So if you're excited about this and this type of content, follow me, subscribe, thumbs up, and see you in the next video.